Hello, everyone. We're in the midst of Mental Health Week that leads up to the 10th of October, which is observed as World Mental Health Day. For those of you who are following us on our various social media platforms, as well as who follow our work professionally otherwise, must be aware that as a center, it's constantly our endeavor to not just talk about and promote emotional and mental well-being, but we also try and make it accessible for people at large. And it is we're always trying to make mental health solutions accessible and available to the community. Over the last 6 months, of course, we've done a lot of online workshops and webinars, as well as a lot of live Facebook as well as Instagram sessions, which are saved on our YouTube channel as well as on our Facebook page. So if you've missed those, please do tune in, and you can catch a glimpse of that over time. Today we're going to talk about a topic that is about women and self-love, and I'm going to invite Dr. Rajiv Anand to join me in this. Just give me a moment before joins us, then we can continue. A warm welcome to everybody who's joining in. We should go. Good evening, Dr. Anand.
Good evening.
Okay, so I was just introducing everybody to the Mental Health Week, and now, of course, coming to today's topic. Whenever we hear about the term love, usually there's a visualization that people have in their mind. But how often do we visualize that to be about the loving relationship that we have with ourselves? Maybe the most important relationship, but often love is imagined or visualized in the context of love with another person. Dr. Anna, like I was saying, the term love by itself is usually seen in the context of an emotion that is expressed for another person or a thing. But when we talk about self-love, of course, we'll come to talking about it in the context of women and self-love. But just when we say the word self-love, that's what we're trying to emphasize here on how we should also use that in expression towards ourselves. How does the meaning of the word love change? Does the context or the meaning change when we talk about that love towards ourselves instead of another person?
Okay. First of all, compliment to you that you have thought about a very sensitive topic which disturbs almost everybody in any part of the world at any age, because everybody has various issues or various grievances about love being less, love which could have been more, love which could have come from X direction or Y direction, and so on and so forth. The most of us, we believe that the love what we have experienced from the childhood, that quality of love or that brand of love or that flavor of love is final love. Love is usually spoken by way of as if it is an object, as if it is a noun. Well, the harsh reality is, or rather not necessarily harsh reality, rather pleasant reality is that the love is an energy. Love is loving. To the what kind of love we believe we should get it, that is pampered love. As when we were a child or a baby or a grown-up baby, whatever our near and dear ones pampered us, took us in the arm, patted our back, patted our cheeks, comforted us, gave us chocolate, gave us
Indulgence.
something, made us feel desirable, made us feel likable. That was love. We grow into adult stage, but we are still stuck with that word called love. When others give us what I call loving energy, what when others give us, and if others do not give us, we feel our life is loveless. We feel lovelorn, or we feel we are lifeless. Over to you.
Right. I mean, we've been seeing this, pattern in the recent past, which is why we decided to take up the topic of women and self love, because we've been seeing that a lot of people, a lot of clients come in with issues of low self esteem, and that has an impact on various aspects of their lives. Of course. you work with specifically a particular age group, and so do I. But what is your observation of that pattern? How commonly do you see it? What kind of an impact do you think it has on the different aspects of one's life? And I mean, I can share my thoughts after that.
Since interestingly, most of us are stuck with the concept of love which has to come from outside, which has to come from others. So we are more obsessed with what others think about us, how others see us, how others find us, whether we are good looking, whether we have done good makeup, whether we have good hairs, whether we are wearing good clothes, whether our height is good or not, whether our weight is right or not. So we see from others' eyes. And others' eyes and others' sight and others' likes and dislikes are constantly changing. Different cities, different time, different people, same people at different times. So that what comes from others is always unstable, always changing, always ephemeral. It's coming, and much earlier, before it finally settles, it goes away.
Right.
So we are constantly insecure about losing that love which has to come from others, beside being obsessed by looking at others' eyes. So we do not look inside what I'm supposed to do or what I'm capable of doing. We are more bothered about how others look at me, how others find me. That's why the social media has come up in such a big way. The people are less connected with their own self, more connected with hundreds and probably thousands of people others. Over to you.
Right, I agree with you that whether it's social media or it is just a general. I mean, even in the absence of social media, that was a factor. But the term self-love has become quite frequently used nowadays. And what I notice personally is that while people are becoming familiar with the concept, they are becoming accustomed to talking about it casually, to say that I there's self-care Sunday, and things like that. These are things that are picking up, but yet things that people do to take care of themselves still remains a little bit superfluous, in the sense that generally we see that people still think of their looks, or think of how they're going to be perceived by others, or think of a spa visit and things like these as their ways of showing love towards themselves. Not to say that these are wrong ways. I mean, they are absolutely welcome and absolutely okay to do, but they still remain at a very surface level, in the sense that young girls and women, when they find themselves doing that, while they may feel good about themselves temporarily, it's a temporary solution. Soon thereafter they start to feel empty again, and that's when we see a lot of clients coming with either concerns of low self-worth, or even like a sense of doubt on themselves. So these patterns then sort of lead them to understand the importance, which is what we're trying to talk about here, the importance to love yourself intrinsically, not just on the outside, not just about how the world perceives you, but also about who you are as a person. Who are you? And to be able to understand that, become more aware of that, accept and embrace that, to appreciate the original you, that is not dependent on the outside you, that is not dependent on how people see you. So do you agree with me on that should be the fundamental understanding of self-love?
Okay, I fully agree with you, and there is nothing wrong in looking after oneself,
Right.
or wearing nice clothes, or doing good makeup, or doing good hair,
Correct.
or presenting oneself as best as possible. Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But also, we have to be aware about that is roughly about 10% aspect of our personality.
Right.
10%. What is visible or what is tangible. The remaining 90%, which is not visible to others, or 90% component of our personality, which is not tangible to others, neither visible nor tangible, that's lying dormant in us. Now, who would take care of it? If we will not bring that out to the surface, if we will not present it in the best possible way, then we shall be depriving us of our own love. And if we are not loving ourselves, then very likely others also would not love us. I may have an inherent quality of playing wonderful music, or singing a wonderful song, or playing any musical instrument, or maybe any other talent. But if I do not harness it, if I do not cultivate it, how would others find that I have some inner talent within me? So we have to divide our time and energy and emotion and efforts in what we invest in the external presentation or external visible, tangible beautification. Also, 90% of bringing out the best what we carry within us.
Right. Has your video frozen? Sorry. Yeah. When you give that description of 10% that and 20% that, I'm going to extend that a little bit into also saying that it's about what we feed our mind, right? I'm shifting from the aspect of self love to also, because when we are talking of acceptance, when we are talking of working intrinsically on myself, I feel it's got a lot to do with self belief. Just this idea that I am a whole person and I do work on how I look, and because it makes us happy. That's 10%. The remaining 90% is my creativity, my who I am as a person, what makes me, my attributes, my personality, and also my beliefs, also my thoughts. So like how I feed my body the right things to have the right kind of results, I also have to be very, very careful and very mindful about the kind of thoughts that I am feeding my mind, for the kind of beliefs I hold about myself. And you were absolutely right about when you said that when I don't love myself, the people around me are going to pick that up. So when I talk of the beliefs, that the kind of beliefs I hold about myself, let's say I think I am not good enough, or if I hold certain negative beliefs about myself, to say I'm not smart enough, these beliefs do indirectly rub onto my actions, onto my interactions with people, and as a result of that, life in general. What is your view? I mean, when we talk to our viewers about focusing on self-love and focusing on it intrinsically, what's your view on the emphasis on the right kind of beliefs?
Okay, first of all, I would say, and I would put on record, that lot many positive things are happening these days all over. The more and more educated girl, intelligent girl, more and more girls are becoming smart and realizing it that centuries held old model of self-belief was transferred to us by others based on our weight or slimness or trimness or ideal weight or ideal height or ideal complexion or ideal figure or ideal hair. None of these things hold water anymore. Each one of us is unique.
Yeah.
So we don't have to borrow others' belief, what others believe about us. We have to have our own self-belief, self-image, self-respect, self-identity, self-esteem, and that we have to constantly cultivate. It doesn't come ready in a package which we can buy from a beauty parlor. It doesn't come ready from any food bazaar outlet that we can buy and we can buy more of it and we can use it. No, it has to be cultivated. So very creditable, very admirable that more and more people of the young generation are realizing it. There are people who are 5 kg overweight, 10 kg overweight, doesn't matter, they're very happy.
Yeah.
There are people who have different kind of hair, different kind of short hair, long hair, they're still very happy. People who have features which need not to be compared with anyone else in the world, yet they are on the top of the world. People, they have different complexion, yet their charm is much more, which goes much beyond their complexion.
Yeah.
Because they have so many other things to show to the world or bring to the world or give it to the world.
Yeah.
So I would like to add over here that different from the man, much different from the man. The need of love for a woman is much larger. And let me clarify, I'm not referring to the love which she gets from a man or a boyfriend or a husband. Need for love for a woman is much larger and of much larger or wider spectrum. She just doesn't need one kind of love, which for centuries has been forced
Considered to
to
be
believe, forced
yeah.
on her that be happy with the husband, be happy with household thing. Now things have changed in the current world because she has so much inherent, enormous talent, enormous creativity, enormous possibility to bring it out. Today we have best of bankers, top bankers in India who are. We have top models. Besides, of course, models can be top models. We have top even scientists who are women.
Right.
All of us know about very good doctors who are women.
Hmm.
We know pilots who are women. We know politicians who are women.
Hmm.
You take any walk of life, the women have surprised and shocked not only themselves and their family members, they have shocked the world that they are
Yes.
capable of much more than what they were traditionally thought of.
Hmm.
And that's a very good change
Hmm.
that they have loved themselves
Hmm.
and they have brought it to the fore. They have brought it to the world that they have so much more to give to the society or to the universe. Over to you.
And this is actually our intention also, is to be able to make this reach out to that section of women who have not yet gotten there, who still somewhere perceive themselves under the lens of others, perceive themselves under the lens of how they look and things like that. I mean, you're absolutely right. A lot of people find themselves very happy, in body positivity, in the way, irrespective of how they look and irrespective of their features, are very content and happy. But then there's a large section that finds themselves suffering with that low self-worth because of this societal pressure or because of the
Yeah.
conditioning, rather. So important that we can reach out to them, for them to understand the impact of self-love and impact of the right kind of positive self-beliefs. When you were talking about conventionally, or like culturally, what has been instilled in women, I mean, what was coming to my mind is that I think as women we are always taught that, or we were taught rather earlier, that self love is like being selfish. It's to say that as if loving others should always become above loving ourselves, and it's the right thing to be selfless. That was the conventional thing that was passed on generations earlier on. And I think that's what also makes, or has made, over the generations, women very dependent on their partners, maybe because it is that dependency which is also socially supported, right? Because socially people understand the concept of love coming from relationships. So a lot of women seek validation about themselves, about their lives, from their significant others, whether it is a husband or a boyfriend or even parents, only because they believe that it is the love that I receive from the outside that is going to fill me up, or that is going to validate my sense of self-worth. What is your view? I mean, when we talk of self love, how does one change their perspective if they have to shift the focus of love from the outside, from coming to the outside, towards from being generated and created in the inside?
Okay, in the course of next 3 or 4 minutes, which
Mm-hmm.
is almost toward the end of this today's discussion, even though this topic is so relevant and so important, we conduct 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours workshop on this topic of loving yourself, specifically for the women. But that 3 4 hours program we are summarizing in next few minutes or so. As I said, women need much more love than the physical love, than the love from the husband or the man in their life, and they need much more love. Okay, that decades back, that was the model of love based on the
Yeah.
understanding of the knowledge that far people did have. Individuals or the society had this kind of value system that be confined to the husband or be loyal to the one man or be loyal to the family or be loyal to your role as a traditional housewife and you would be happy. Now the
Correct.
role had changed. Now women need to connect much more to themselves. And here I'm summarizing just 4 points, very simple 4 points. And they all are beginning with word L, love for L begin with love, so it's easier for you to remember those L. First thing is liberate yourself. Liberate yourself from everything whatever has happened in the past. Liberate yourself from the shackles of the past. Whatever has happened in the past, whatever people, whatever pain, whatever you have gone through, liberate from those shackles of that because that is pulling you behind, which women have to learn how to liberate themselves, liberate themselves. Second thing, they have to learn every day something new. They have to constantly learn something every day, learn something new, which is not very difficult in today's world when so much of information and so much of media and so much of sources are there. They have to learn everything, something new, whether it's hairstyle new, whether it's exercise new, whether the recipe new, whether the making social context new, whether learning language skill, whether playing instrument, or whether whatever different kind of things could be there, learn something new. Then the third L would be let people see that you have so much creativity inside you, so much talent inside you. Let people see you shining. Let people see you shining. And the fourth L would be live in the moment. Be totally in the moment. Be totally in the present. Best beauty of a girl would be when she is in this moment. irrespective of her facial or irrespective of the features or the figure, the beauty of a woman would be being
In
totally in
this
this
very
moment. So
moment.
these four, I'll liberate yourself from past pain, people, whatever has happened in the past. Liberate yourself from the shackle from the past. Learn something new every day. Let people see you shining or glowing or creating something for you, and then live in the moment. These four L, if they remember, that would work very well for shining their personality and making them feel, wow, they have something inside them.
Hmm. Hmm. I think those are very valid points. In fact, I wanted for, when we were planning today's session, I wanted the structure of the session to be such that we can give away something to our audiences or to the women who are watching us to start off with, something that gives them that here are a couple of things and this is what you should start off with in your process and or your journey towards self-love. And all four points mentioned by you, whether it is liberating themselves from the past. I just feel like that has also. I'm just going to touch upon that because to me, it's like saying that when we imagine ourselves to be in a relationship or in a marriage or whatever, there are certain emotions or certain feelings that come inside of us. That of unconditional love, maybe that of adoration for the other person, even like respecting them or sometimes even forgiving them. But when we talk of self love, I feel like self love will only begin when we start to have these same feelings for ourselves. And when you spoke of liberating yourself from the past, the aspect of forgiveness really stood out for me because I feel people, women especially, have a tendency to really hold on to past grudges, whether they are that of somebody else's and often that of your own, sometimes a lot of regret. And that forgiveness towards the self and letting go or beginning the process of either working independently or with a close confidant or with a therapist about working or processing your past so that you can liberate from it and be the new person or be give yourself the chance to be your fullest potential in the today is a very very relevant point. And of course, so you said liberating, you said learning every single day, letting people see how you shine out, and the last point mentioned by you was to live in the very moment. All very significant points. Anything that you would like to add? Because I do feel like people, especially in terms of body and mind, for most of us, it's completely our responsibility to take care of our body and mind, to show every single day gratitude towards how we feel about ourselves and how we look, and both these aspects in
Yeah.
total balance I feel are
I would
very
like I
important
would
for
like to
women.
say in the end that there is a lot of confusion or misgiving or misunderstanding or canard about seeking help.
Hmm.
Women need much more to learn to manage themselves on all these four things what I mentioned about it.
Yeah.
Hardwired to live in the past or with the past experiences
Hmm.
or the past painful experiences or shackled to the past or what people have said about them. They are hardwired to have difficulty in living in the moment,
Hmm.
difficulty in connecting to their way, or
Hmm.
they have difficulty in bringing the best out of them. So they need help, they need counseling. But in our traditional society, people think that talking to someone is admittance of a mental health issue or
Yeah.
having a kind of a mental problem. None of it. The
Hmm.
modern day girls, modern day women,
Hmm.
they are realizing how they would bring the best out of them
Correct.
by learning. So these they
Hmm.
all make the plank or the four pillars of therapy or healing, which
Yeah.
is principally is easier to understand, but a lot of time is required for a therapist to
Hmm.
work on their mind soil for
Yeah.
them so that they can innovate themselves.
Hmm.
They can redesign their life.
Hmm.
They can reorganize themselves. They
Hmm.
can relaunch themselves.
Hmm.
They can innovate, launch, reinvent themselves. So they
Correct.
can bring out with a newer version of themselves every now and then,
Yeah.
which is not as difficult as they think it is if you are guided well by a therapist.
Hmm.
Now, this word therapy has been looked at it only from the point of view of someone else would help me and he would charge fees. No, far more. It could be any friend. It could be
Yeah.
an elder. It could be a mother. It could be your sister-in-law. It could be your any colleague. who could be skilled enough and sensitive enough and qualified enough to take care of you. And if you don't have, then therapists. Not that everybody has to go to a therapist, but everybody has need to help himself or herself, more so with the women.
Yeah. And even earlier, like when you were talking about women seeing success in so many different fields, I mean, just that by itself is, indicative of the fact that there's so much potential in everybody. It's just about understanding and recognizing that it is your biggest or your greatest responsibility to do that for yourself, to tap your fullest potential. So I just like to kind of close today's session and today's conversation on the points that we have discussed today, encouraging all the women who are watching this either live or saved later on. We're going to put this on our IGTV and all other social media platforms. To everybody who's watching, we hope that you were able to draw a couple of points from this, and from today onwards, at least you can work on the things that we have discussed, and be kind to yourselves before you consider being kind to other people. Celebrate yourself every single day, because there's a lot in there that needs to be celebrated every day. And of course, as best as possible, be less critical and harsh with the kind of words that you use about yourself in your own belief system. Dr. Anand, your closing
One
points.
point, one
Sure.
point in the end. Leave aside my face, which doesn't have a very pleasant look. I'm rather a serious looking person with a frown on my face. Leave my face aside. I'm a man, I can get away. But women, girls, in a minute reveals a lot, whether they are living in the past or they're living in the present by their smile. If they have a pleasant smile, they're living in the moment. If they lack the pleasant smile, they're living in the past. I did say in the beginning, give me some points for I being a man can get away because I'm a psychiatrist and I'm a serious person. My face is not pleasant looking, or I'm not very smiling person always. But for women, it is. If they're smiling, they are indicating they are living in present. And they're
And
having
if you are
frown on their
living in
face,
the
they are
present,
revealing.
let's look at it the other way before we close. If you are living in the present, then you really may not need to do so much or worry so much about your cosmetic
True,
presence,
true,
because
true,
your
true,
smile will make you glow, or your
true.
features.
That's the best cosmetic.
Yeah.
That's the best cosmetic that you're living in the present. People will be attracted to you for the energy, loving energy which you are emitting, which are oozing out of you. Well, if you're not living in the present, then you are revealing to the world that I'm shackled with the past. I'm living in the past. So I'm not present. I'm not healthy. So people would not get close to you, would get attracted to you. I'm sure this is enough for today for people to think over and apply in their life. We
Sure.
shall be having, God willing, very soon extended discussion on this topic in some other format also, and also about women, other issues, women and anger, and women and other issues also in the near future.
Okay. Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Anand.
Thank you, viewers. Thank you, everybody.